All right, and we are back. This is NHL 20 Franchise Mode Calgary Flames. This is episode number 46. Yes, welcome back to our franchise mode here at the Calgary Flames, and welcome into the 2024-25 season, our last and final season as GM here of the Calgary Flames. And as you can see, we are 2 months into the season, and it's definitely not the way we want it to begin as the reigning Stanley Cup champions. There's a look at your Pacific Division standings. We are sitting there 8th, dead last in our division, 25 points. It's been a pretty slow start to say the least here for the Calgary Flames, and definitely not one that we are too proud of. But hey, we're slowly climbing out of that, and that shows in our records here month by month. Again, we are, 2 months in here. We've played 26 games. When you look at, again, if you watched the last couple episodes, you know, when you looked at the month of October, 3-7-1 to start the season in this opening month. 3-7-1. I mean, you couldn't have thought of probably a worse start for the Calgary Flames than a 3-7-1 start after raising the Stanley Cup banner. But we did pick it up a little bit in November. We went 9-6-0. So, I mean, 9-6-0. It's better. It's above 500. I mean, obviously, 9 wins, 6 losses. So, I mean, it's better here in the month of November, but still, you know, there's still not enough done. We did lose a couple divisional games here. We lost at the very end here. We lost to Vancouver. We got a win there against Anaheim, lost to Vegas. Overtime win against Anaheim, which gave Anaheim a point. Another loss to Vegas. So in that little 5-game stretch of divisional games here in this entire week, you know, to go 2-3-0, if you will, plus giving up a point to Anaheim. So I mean, you know, that's not a good stretch there. You know, losing 3 of those divisional games, plus you know, winning 2 of them, but plus giving up a point in one of those wins. So I mean, these divisional games are killing us. They're definitely killing us here. If this week went a little bit different here at the end of the month, you know, we might be a little higher in the standings. You look at the Vancouver Canucks; they're on the right side. They're just 1 point ahead of us at 26. You know, yes, Vegas is the best team in our division, but we still need those divisional points. It's still early in the season. There's Vegas at the top. They're 38 points. That's not a far stretch. I mean, they're just what is that, 13 points ahead of us, you know, for first place in the division. It's a very, very tight division. So these standings look a little deceiving. The fact that we're still 8th and dead last in our division, it looks deceiving for sure, because, you know, we go on one good run and we could definitely plummet up those standings a good, you know, 3 or 4 spots. So I mean, that's all we need is a good stretch. Like I said, we kind of did it the last episode there, going 9-6-0, picking it up slightly. So I mean, take that as what you will. It's slowly getting better, but this is still not the season we want, because again, this is our last season. We're just trying to repeat as Stanley Cup champions. It's basically a one and all here. We know we're retiring at the end of the season, so we kind of want to go out you know, on a bang and win the Stanley Cup in back-to-back years. Right now it's a far cry from that, but we're just trying to get ourselves back in a competitive spot right now. Still early on, 20-some games into the season, but now we're going to start simming a lot more games here in this next little while, and definitely pick it up here. So I just really quickly want to look at this, and because I mean, we looked at this at the beginning of the last episode. You know, we were pretty much dead last in every category. Just see how we're picking up here on all of our team stats. So goals for per game. When we go from we're going to go from worst to best in all of these categories. Goals for per game. I think we were decent. I mean, we were still in the bottom half in the last episode. Now we are about exactly at the halfway point. So there we go. Goals for per game, 3.08. That's about halfway in the league. We might even be slightly in the top half there in goals for per game. This is not my concern. I'm not concerned at all about goals for and our offense. It's been actually pretty good. And of course, with the roster we have, it should be. And yeah, I'm not concerned about that. This is where it's still concerning. Goals against per game, again, worst from best. We are now 3rd worst. That's an improvement because we were dead last in goals against per game at the start of the last episode. We've moved up 2 spots. Again, still extremely, extremely bad for a championship caliber team and a team that's supposed to be contending for a cup to be 3rd worst in the entire NHL. But you have to see that as very, very slow improvement in that category. When we look at the PP and the PK, again, worst to best in the PP. We're looking about halfway here, 19.1. So again, that's about 15th in the league, halfway mark. Could be better, could be a lot worse though. It should be better though with the roster we have. PK here, this is where it's pretty bad still. PK is 70% good enough for second worst in the NHL, so that's not good either. So I did go in and I did quickly change our PK a little bit. I don't know if I really want to tweak with our power play. There's not a lot we can do with the power play, so let's go into that quickly here. Special teams. So there's a look at the power play. We did tweak with this in the last episode there. We took Monahan off, put him on the second unit here, and then we put Tkachuk up there, I think. I mean, we can continue to, play around with this, but it's not going to do too much. It did slowly improve, so I think we're going to leave it right now as is. The PK, I did go and change this just before I started this episode. So what I did is I took Claude Giroux out completely, put Matthew Tkachuk in here. Again, I'm just looking for anything. The problem with this PK unit is these are our best penalty killer players. These are our best defensive players in all positions. First, when you look at forwards, McKinnon and Monahan, no doubt about it. They are our two best centers defensively, offensively, overall. I mean, but their defensive stats speak for themselves. Like, we have to have these guys out there, when it comes to defense. You look at Monahan's stats there. That's Yusuf Valimaki. There's Monahan's defensive stats as well. I mean, these are our two best centermen. We don't have much depth behind them. Dylan Dubé might be our next best centerman, and he's already out there. I had Claude Giroux out there who had pretty decent defensive stats, but I had to switch something up, so I just brought in Tkachuk. His stats are okay. 89, 84, 87 there on the left side of the defensive column. We can try putting him out there. Again, same thing with the defenseman. It's even worse with the defenseman. We've only got top four defensemen, let alone four good defensive defensemen, and these are them. Yusuf Valimaki, Josh Manson. I mean, Josh Manson's a defensive defenseman. Yusuf Valimaki's defensive stats are lights out, 91, 94, 94 down there. I mean, they should be getting it done. Rasmus Anderson's got really decent defensive stats, 87, 92, 92, and then Dougie Hamilton's our next best defensive defenseman. Like, our other two defensemen are, who are they? They're, like, you can't put them in the situation. So what we've been doing is we've just been switching up our defense on the PK. Where are they here? So yeah, our other defensemen, Oliver Shillington and Rakdo Gudis. I mean, you're telling me, like, we can't go putting Oliver Shillington or Rakdo Gudis on our penalty kill. Like, look at their defensive stats compared to the other guys. I know Rakdo Gudis is a defensive defenseman, but 85, 83, 83. Who are you going to take off? Like, I mean, I don't know. And again, it's slowly improving, but I wouldn't even want to take off like a Dougie Hamilton for a Rakdo Gudis. Let's go here to the PK. You saw Rakdo Gudis' stats, but even Hamilton, I mean, 87, 85, 87. That's a hell of a lot better than what Rakdo Gudis has. I don't know. You know what? Let's try it. It's pissing me off, but let's try it. So where's Rakdo Gudis here? Yeah, 85, 83. He's a 77 overall. I'm scared to do this. I'm scared to put him on the penalty kill at 77 overall compared to Dougie Hamilton, who's what, like an 85. A huge difference there. But you know what? Our PK needs anything right now. Let's try switching it up. We'll put Rakdo Gudis on the second penalty kill unit and see if that helps out. I don't know anything at this point right now to fix our team, because I mean, I just don't understand how we can have such a good team, but we're continuously performing the way we are. Now, here's the biggest reason why that we continue to look at. We said it was goals against, and it continues to be our goaltending. Jordan Binnington and this Alec Netrovic guy just not getting it done. So let's take a look here at Binnington's stats here. 890, 331 goals against here through 22 games. I mean, that speaks for itself. 331 goals against. I mean, that's not even close to starting goalie caliber, but yet he's still an 85. He's still a starter exact. He's still an elite goalie listed there in the role category. I mean, you look at his stats down here, he's still a good goalie. I mean, this is a guy that was a year removed from possibly being our Conn Smythe Trophy winner. This was a guy that won a Vezina not long ago. I mean, this is a guy that's really good. One of the better goalies in the NHL, probably a top 10 goalie in this league. When you go and look at all the teams and their starting goalies, there's not a lot of good goalies out there right now. And this is still supposed to be one of the better guys, but yet you look at his numbers, 890, 331 goals against. I mean, that's just not good enough. That's not even close to good enough, for a team that wants to contend for a cup. Our backup's been not much better in Netrovic here. 9 games, 8.67, 4.12 goals against per game. Even worse. I mean, smaller sample size, but he has not come in and supported Binghamton the way that Jake Allen did last year for us. I really regret losing Jake Allen because he was huge for us in the season. He didn't play any games in the playoffs for us, but he was a huge reason we got to where we did in the playoffs because he had a nice long stretch for us. He deserved that Stanley Cup just as much as anybody else on our team. Unfortunately, this Netrovic guy is not doing the same job for us this year, when Binghamton's struggling. But Binghamton is struggling more than he has in any other year as well. Let's take a look here at his stats quickly. Last year, 909 through 60 games, 911 the year before that, 921. I think this was the year he won his Vezina right there. So you can just see, I mean, it's getting worse and worse, but this is a huge drop-off from that, even last season alone. And I mean, it's... If you even want to look at playoffs, because that was the most recent there, 9-2-5 in the 23 games that we went and won the Stanley Cup. He went 9-1-3 a couple of years before that when St. Louis won the Stanley Cup. So, his playoff stats have been excellent, but just looking at his most recent sample size of work, which was last year's Stanley Cup playoffs, I mean, 9-2-5, 236 goals against. I don't know what's happening here. It's just, he's just fallen off a cliff, and I don't know what to say. I mean, we are not getting goaltending at all, and it's hurting us. I don't know. He's got 1 year left on his contract, 5.5. I looked before the last episode at the goal. Let me get a drink here for a second. Excuse me. Okay. I looked at the last episode at the goaltending in the trading block, and there wasn't much out there. So I mean, we can't really, really trade for a goalie. Not only was there not much out there in terms of goalies to get, but there wasn't a lot of teams that actually wanted to take on Binghamton's contract, or not Binghamton's contract, but just Binghamton as a player. And again, the only way we're going to get a goalie because there is salary cap space is to trade Jordan Binghamton. And just go in here quickly and show you propose a trade here. And we'll just look at our cap space quickly here. So yeah, when we go into our roster here, there it is, a $0.775 million to work with. So $775,000. That's all we have to work with. We don't have a lot of money. So the only way we're going to get a goalie is by moving out Jordan Binghamton. And when you go to goalies here, this may have changed recently. But when you put Jordan Binghamton on the block here, again, if he highlights in green, that means teams are interested in him. Chicago's interested in him. But you can see as I'm flickering through the teams here fast, LA's interested in Minnesota, Montreal. So there's a few more teams now. That's better. I think when I went through it before the last episode, there was none. There was no teams at all. But still, that's what, 4 teams as we are now going through all 30. Yeah, so 4 teams out of 30 teams are interested in Jordan Binghamton. That's not a lot of room to work with. And then when you go into a team like, say, Chicago, and I'm just doing this really quickly, you just look at who they have here. Yeah, so I mean, goal overall here, Linus Ullmark is their best goalie at 80 overall. That's not going to do it. Go down here to LA. Who do they have in net? Nobody. Jonathan Bernier, 77 overall. Not going to work. Not even close to NHL caliber. Minnesota, who do you have? This Jones guy, 81 overall. That's the same as our backup. And then Montreal, do you still have Price? Yeah, you do, but he's 80, and Semyon Varlamov 80. So there's no good goalies out there, and that's the 4 teams that are interested in Binghamton. So that just shows you. I mean, there's no goalies out there to get, let alone very few teams wanting to take on Binghamton. I mean, you can't just go to another team and say, hey, give us your goalie, we'll give you Binghamton. They don't want Binghamton. They can probably see how poor he's playing. So, I mean, it sucks. I mean, that's the goalie market right now. There's nothing else out there. There's very few goalies right now in the league that are decent goalies, and the teams that have them don't want to get rid of them. And we have one of them. He's just not playing good. So it's frustrating because, if goaltending was even slightly better, I think we would be drastically better in our standings. Again, it's not the offense. Look at our offense. That's not the problem. Our team is offensively built. We are putting in goals. Yes, we could be better in that category, but we're fine in offense. That's not the problem. It's our goaltending. We're not getting it done every game, and as well as our defense, as well. But, I mean, You look at those numbers on Binghamton and Netrovic. I mean, that's just a huge reason why. So, that's my little rant there. Let's get into it. I want to get a lot of simming done in this episode if we can. To work with a little bit more of a sample size if the goaltending does continue as we approach the trade deadline, because we're like 2.5 months-ish away from the trade deadline. We're going to have to maybe explore our options. Like, we'll have to, try and force a trade somehow. Try and force Jordan Binghamton onto another team, and then try and get another goalie. Even if we have to trade draft picks or prospects, we're going to have to do something to drastically change our team if the goaltending continues. Binghamton, like I said, he's in the final year of his contract. Maybe they don't even re-sign him next year. Again, we're not going to be the GM, but maybe they don't even re-sign him next year at all. Maybe there's a different goalie in the market. So anyways, we'll see with the goalies what we have going on here as we start this first game here against Philly. 1-1. 2-1 for them here. Kevin Hayes scores on Binghamton. We need a huge third period. Come on, Calgary. Come on. All right, we tie it up or force overtime. It's Alex Ovechkin that ties it. 2-2. 30 shots apiece. Here we go, overtime. We need this extra point. Come on, Flames. Nothing. How about in a shootout? Fuck, they get in the shootout. All right, so they get goals from Morgan Frost and Dylan Larkin. We get one from Johnny Gaudreau. That's not good enough, though. End of the day, they get that extra point. We do get a point out of this, but I want both points. Again, where we are in the standings, we need both points. I mean, I don't know what you break down in this one. A few guys in the minuses. Got to be better. And again, Binghamton, actually decent game out of Binghamton. 9-3-5, 187 goals against. That's more like the goalie that we're used to out of Jordan Binghamton. So that's good. That's what you want to see. He actually played a solid game. Of course, loses in a shootout there. Not too much his fault. So we'll take the point, but we need both points. Right now this is so crucial. But these divisional games are going to be huge. So we have another divisional game here coming up against San Jose. Again, it is still somewhat early in the season, but this is also the point where you need to start winning every goddamn divisional game if you even want a shot at the playoffs. San Jose actually sits second in our division at 32 points. So we got to find a way to beat any team in our division. Any team above us, which is all the teams, we have to find a way to beat. So they're having a good season. We need to get a win here. We can't lose these divisional games. So these are must-win games. Any divisional game from this point is a must-win game. Here we go, Flames. Must win. Here we go. First period, 1-0 for us. Jordan Eberle. Second period, they tie it up. Jake Virtanen. Come on, Flames. This is a must-win in regulation. Come on, Calgary. Huge third period. Huge third period. There we go. We get a massive, massive third period. All right, so they get a goal from Nordstrom, but we do get goals from Eberle, McKinnon, and Austin Zarnik. We will take it. In regulation, we beat the Sharks 4-2. Obviously, that's what I want to see here. All right, 2-point night of Bennett, Eberle, and Juuso Valimaki. And another good night for Jordan Binghamton. All right, 939, 2.00 goals against, but a 939 save percentage. That's much, much better. So that's 2 games in a row. I think that's the first time this season Binghamton's had 2 really good games back-to-back like that. Let's hope this continues. Maybe by us talking about him here at the beginning of the episode, maybe that wakes him up a little bit. So that's really good to see. That's more like the goalie that we're used to out of Jordan Binghamton. All right. Let's go to Washington, Calgary. So that's back-to-back, or not back-to-back wins, but back-to-back good performances from Binghamton. But we get 3 points in our last 2 games. We're looking at the positives at this point. As you can see, we're still last, but slowly climbing in here. Just 2 points back there of both LA and Vancouver. And again, very, very logjam standings when you look at the Pacific Division. So again, all we can do right now is not look at that too much. Just control what we can, and that's just winning games. Win games and hope that we can slowly slide up in the standings. So here we go. Good team in the East in Washington. They lead their division. Need to find a way to pull out a win here against Ovechkin's former team. So here we go. First period, 2-2. Goals from Pajot and Kuznetsov for them. McKinnon on Monahan for us. Second period. Come on, Flames. Again, we're trading goals with the Capitals. Dylan Dubé and Connor Carrick for them. Come on, Calgary. Huge third. Come on, Flames. Yes, there we go. 3 goals in a row. Sean Monahan, Scott Wilson, Jordan Eberle. That's huge. A 6-3 win against the Washington Capitals. Once again, our offense outscores their offense and gets it done. That's why I'm not concerned with our offense. We're putting up the amount of numbers that we need to. Our top guys are still performing offensively the way they need to. We're just not getting it done defensively. But that's a better game. Binghamton, a little bit of a worse game compared to his last 2. 8-6-4 there in the save percentage. But again, he had 2 solid games before that. Still gets us the victory as we move on to Arizona. Another divisional game coming up here. So another must win And actually, Arizona is one of the teams we're chasing now. We actually do pass LA and Vancouver. So like I said, by just getting 2 wins there in our last 3 games, we're slowly climbing the standings. We jumped 2 spots, and we're now 3 points back of a wild card spot. So just like that, we're turning things around. That's how tight our division is. Again, I mean, look at it on the right side of your screen there. 30 points for us, 33 is Anaheim, 34 is Edmonton above them, 34 is Arizona, the team we're chasing. We're only 4 points back of third in our division, and that's just 10 points back of the top spot in our division. So, I mean, again, just looking at our division, it's so log jammed. I mean, we just need to go on some winning streaks here. We just need to string together some wins, and suddenly our season could turn around. And if we can do it by getting Jordan Binnington playing the way he's supposed to be playing, then suddenly our entire season turns around, and we're not hitting the panic button. I mean, it's just amazing how just a few games can change everything. So we just need to continue to do what we're doing here, to getting these wins. And like I said, every divisional game, like I said in that San Jose game, like I'm going to say here in this Arizona game, every divisional game is a must-win at this point. That's the only way we're going to climb the standings in our division, is win every single divisional game. So here we go. 3 points back of Arizona, a team that we are chasing. We must win this game in regulation. Come on, Flames. First period. All right, 3-0 them. What the hell happened? That's not the way you want to start out a divisional game. That is a must-win. Holy fuck. 3-0 Dvorak, Hiroza, and Kessel. Like, what the hell, Calgary? All right, come on. We're going to have to fight back here in the second and third. Second period. All right. We just shit the bed in this one. 5-0 them, and they add another one. We had one 6-1 them. All right, so that is a absolute example of what you do not want to do in a divisional game, and that's shit the bed here. Horrible game all around. Don't know where this one went wrong. They put up a 6 spot on us. McKinnon's line drastically in the minuses. Our top players hurting in this one, and obviously Binnington was pulled with 7 goals against in the first 20 minutes. Netrovic came in for the final 2, wasn't much better. Again, we're not getting support with the backup goalie. Like, when Binnington has a bad game, which you hope isn't at all, but when he does have a bad game, I mean, you'd like to have a nice backup come in there and support him. All right, so Rakto Gudis has been injured, unfortunately. So like I said, the guy we just put on our PK, still only a 7th defenseman for us. Not even a good defenseman. Neil Pionk's actually better, so we'll put Neil Pionk in there. But what I think we will do is go back and put Dougie Hamilton now back on that PK unit instead of Neil Pionk. Just quickly here. And that's the only other lines that, that Rakto Gudis was in. But I know it hurts our PK, but I mean, what can you do? All right. So we needed that divisional win. We don't get it. We allow Arizona to jump back to the 3 spot in our division. We're now 6 points back of them, but we're still only 3 points back at Anaheim, 4 points back at Edmonton, as long as we can keep winning here. So we got Toronto up next here. We do got to win those divisional games. It is killing us. All right, and we got to string together some wins. The more wins we can string together, the better it's going to be for us. I mean, it's so cliche, but it's the only way to do it right now. All right, here we go. Toronto, Calgary. Let's see if we can bounce back. All right, another game where they go 3-0 in the first period. Like, what the hell is happening, Calgary? Holy fuck. All right, and 13 shots, too. I mean, that's goaltending. That is just... I don't know what to say. All right, second period here. There's 2 more for them. There's 1 for us. Third period, yeah. All right, so that's the second team to put up 5 goals in a single game against us. 3-0 in the first period, back-to-back. I mean, that's deja vu of that last game we just played against Anaheim. Holy hell. This can't get worse. So the top line is struggling. I think we're going to split them up defensively. They're just struggling. Binnington's back to being his old self and struggling. Plays a full 60, goes 8-2-8. Like, I don't know what to say right now. Yeah, I don't know what to do. We were looking good, and there we are back to dead last in our division. Holy hell. All right. Just trying to think here what we can do. What can we do? Fuck it. Let's just try Kachuk up here. Let's put Ovechkin there. Defensively, we got to figure something out here. I don't know. I really don't know. How are these guys doing in the minuses? -5 there, -6. 1, 2, -7 for Shillington. Pionk can't do anything. Rakto Gudis is injured. We don't have enough defense down here, enough depth, and Binnington and Netrovic are just not getting it done. So let's just throw Netrovic in. I have no clue what to do right now. We're probably going to be in the market for a goalie, even if it's a backup at this point. we're going to have to find some sort of a goalie here to help us out, because I don't think we're going to get a starting goalie. Like I said, when you look at that screen that we just looked at prior to starting the simming here, you saw that there's not a lot of teams interested in Binghamton and not a lot of goalies out there. So I don't think we're going to be in the market for a starting goalie, but we sure as hell can go out and get ourselves a better backup and a guy that can maybe come in and play some games for us. We need some sort of an answer here. We just need somebody to take the net right now. All right, 1-0 for them, 2-0 for them. Why not make it 3-0 for them? All right. Shutout on this one. They get 3 goals. Offense goes absolutely radio silence there. Nothing. Netrovic goes 909. That's not bad. Maybe it's because I took Ovechkin off the top line for the first time. So let's go throw him back on there. That clearly did shit all. Yeah, this is brutal. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. This is tripping Dubé up there. It's tough. It's tough when you have such a good team, a team that's listed to be a championship team, a team that just won a fucking Stanley Cup, and then we're playing the way we are. It's tough. So we're back to being dead last in our division. Again, just trying to claw in a playoff spot here at this point. Let's just keep simming. Let's get through this month of December at least. We're probably going to try and get through some in January, and we'll just continue without Rakto Gudis and try and see where we are. Maybe we can just turn this around in some simming here. But let's get a sample of games out of the way here. So let's go Pitt. Just trying to get some wins here. All right, 3-1 for us there after 20. 3-3, we let them tie it up. Third period, we come back and win this one 6-4. You know, if we're going to win games, they're probably going to be games like this where it's high-scoring games. I'm fine with that as long as we're winning the games at this point. I mean, you never want to give up 4 goals in a game, but if we're going to put up 6 on them, it's better. Netrovic gets us the win, 8-9-7. Not the best save percentage, but gets us the win. We'll roll with him. Islanders next here. We're just not consistently getting the wins that we need. Like, we're not stringing together wins. We're going loss, loss, win, win, loss, loss, win. Like, we're not consistent enough either. You can see that's reflected in our standing, or in our record of 15-6-2, 15-16-2. I wish it was 15-6-2. All right, Wilson and Bailey here, 1-1. 2 more goals for them, and then we get 1, but they get 1. Not good enough. I mean, there it is, another loss. It's killing us right now. It is killing us. Shillington and Pionk, just what the fuck are you doing? 8-4-0, like, it's hard not just to pin this on goaltending. I mean, our defense is not much better, but when you look at game by game and you look at the numbers, this is a huge goaltending is a huge reason why right now. Let's take Pionk back out. Let's put Rakto Gudis back in again. There's not much we can do here. Like I said, I just want to sim games here. All right, we've got Nashville next. We're just giving Netrovic a huge sample size of games here to work with. These last 5 games or so he's been in. He hasn't been playing well, but we're just giving him a... Okay, he's probably coming out after that one. 4-0 Nashville after 1. McKinnon. And that's it. All right. Yeah, let's take Netrovic out. I was going to just say, we're going to give him some runway to run with here and see if he can do anything. Grab the net. At this point, I don't think so. Binghamton has to come back in. All right, so what I'm thinking is we're actually just going to go out and get a goalie now. Like, I mean, not right now, but at the end of this month. Probably the end of this episode if we have time. So let's throw Binghamton back in. This is what we're going to do here. So we are going to put Alex. We're going to put Jordan Binghamton in. He's going to go the rest of the way. No matter how bad he's playing, Jordan Binghamton's got the net. I don't think Alex Netrovic is going to play another game as a Calgary Flame. I think that's the way it's going to be right now. We're going to put Binghamton in, and at the end of this month, we are going to go out and get ourselves a goalie, a backup goalie if we have to. So let's play these final few games. We actually have some divisional games to end off this month, Edmonton and Arizona. These could be huge. And then I'm going to go out there and find ourselves any type of goalie. And we need to fix this now. All right, so Edmonton, Arizona, and San Jose actually to finish off this month. So if we had 3 good games here, you know, we could plummet again back up in our standings. Like 3 good divisional games could see us, you know, rise in the standings. We are significantly down a little bit more than we used to be now. We're 4 points back of Arizona and Vancouver, whereas we were always just 1 or 2 points back. We're now 4 points back, and we're now, 8 points back of a playoff spot. So we've seen ourselves significantly drop in these last 4 or 5 games. But 3 games here could turn this around, and we could be back up there, contending for a playoff spot by the end of this 3-game stand. So it's up to us. How do we want this to go? We got 3 games here against Edmonton, Arizona, and San Jose. We can either do good and be back to a playoff spot, or we can fucking shit the bed and pretty much put our season to sleep here and fuck these 3 games up. So I know it's up to our players how they want to play this one. It's up to our goaltending, Jordan Binnington. It's these next 3 games. I know it's early, and I don't mean to overreact, but these next 3 games could literally decide our season here. So we got Edmonton, then Arizona, and then San Jose. Let's just hope for 3 fucking good games. That'd be nice. Here we go. First period, Calgary, Edmonton, 1-1. Goals from Speeds and McKinnon. Second period, there we go, 4-2. We get 3 goals there. And do we hang on in the third? We do 5-3. So that's a good way to start this little 3-game divisional stand. 5-3 win. Won't even look at the standings, or at the stats, I mean. Just move on to Arizona. Back-to-back, we're going to keep Binnington in net. Can we get another good win here against Arizona, who is just 2 points ahead of us? 4 points ahead of us. All right. They're only 500. I mean, that we should be able to beat these teams. All right, first period, 1-1. Second period, nothing. Huge third period, Calgary. No, huge third period for them. They get 3 goals there. That is a huge game for them. Go 1-1 in these divisional games. Let's see if we can at least get it against San Jose here. All right, San Jose. Actually, we got another Arizona game coming up, too. So it's 4 divisional games in a row. That could decide our season. All right. Little Christmas break there, and we're back against San Jose. 3-1 them. All right. Yeah, so that's the way it's going to go. All right, so like I said, that might decide our season right here. Let's just finish this Arizona game off to finish this month. Yeah, I mean, I'm lost for words right now because I don't know what else to say. It's disappointing for sure. For this to be the way our final season will go. All right, we end up getting a win here against Arizona. And we actually got Winnipeg to finish out the month, so let's just do it. And then we got Arizona again to start the new year and to start the month of January. All right, 2024, the year we won the Stanley Cup. Can we finish it off with a win in what has been a horrible second half to the calendar year? 3 goals here in the second. We hang on for a 4-2 win. All right, back and forth with the wins and losses. We're so inconsistent. All right, so that's the way we will end the calendar year 2024. Again, the same year we won the Stanley Cup, the first time since 1989. But the year itself doesn't finish off too good. It finishes off with us dead last in the division. With 38 points in 40 games, and actually one of the worst teams in the league. Second worst, I think, in the Western Conference. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to quickly go and see if there's a goaltending option out there for us. So actually, give me a second. I want to look and see what there is. All right, so we're back here. So I just went through. I went through all the teams once again with goaltending, and again, just like it was before, there's no teams wanting Jordan Binnington. There's no teams that are looking to give away goalies. There's not even a lot of teams with good quality goalies. Like, I'm surprised how many teams don't have good goalies. There's very few top end goalies in this league. But what we got to do is we just have to make a change. It's gone that bad. And you could wait till trade deadline to do this, but our season's hanging on the ropes now, hanging by a thread now, with how bad we are. So enough is enough. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make our big goaltending change now. I think before the new year starts, a month and a half early before trade deadline. So it's not something you ever want to be in the position to do. But I think we have to trade Jordan Binnington now. I went through every team and I went through all the goalies. There's no teams wanting to give up their goalies, but there might be a couple teams we could try and pry a goalie out of by, giving away more. And I don't know if it's even going to work. We're going to try it here, but let's see. So there's two that I think are somewhat reasonable to go after that make the most sense. That probably would be the easiest to do. Again, not only are you looking at trying to bring a goalie back with in terms of trade value and trying to make that work, but it's also about the contract. We don't have the salary cap space to just bring in one of the top paid goalies in the league any more than what Binghamton's making at 5'5", let alone a guy with term left. So, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to work around all of that. But at the end of the day, we got to find an answer. So the first one here would be the Rangers. This is actually a bit of a downgrade than Binghamton, but it might work. It's right here, Robin Leonard. He's 84, but the thing I like about him is look at his stats. 26 games this year, 9-2-8, 2-3 goals against. That's the other thing is I went through all the goalies and I looked at all their stats on every team. There's a lot of goalies that are below 900 in save percentage. Like, there's very few goalies that are even performing good. Like, Binghamton's not the only one. It seems this year in the league, which is weird. Why is the goaltending so drastically bad league-wide? But here's one guy that's not too bad. His numbers are actually one of the better numbers in the NHL. 9-2-8, 2-3 goals against. Yes, he's an 84, whereas Jordan Binghamton's an 85. He's a step down. His contract also looks like this. 3 more years left at 5.4, whereas Binghamton only had a year left. But again, this is our last year anyway. I'm trying to keep it realistic. I'm still trying to keep it, good, but I mean, at the end of the day, we might have to take on a slightly worse contract with a slightly worse goalie if it means him playing well this year and getting us back into the playoffs. That's literally what it's at. 84 overall. Good numbers. I like what I'm seeing here. Trade value is not too high with Robin Leonard. You can see there. I'm even wondering if we did Robin Leonard straight up for Jordan Binghamton. You look at the trade value, it's much more in their favor. I'm wondering if this would go through just like that. The only problem, of course, being is to them, they do not want to give up Robin Leonard, and they don't want Jordan Binghamton. So the fact that neither one of these is entertaining them, is interesting to them, they might decline the trade just because of that, even though they significantly are getting the better goalie. Again, look at the trade value at the bottom of your screen. You can see Binghamton's trade value is way higher than Robin Leonard's, and it has to do with the fact that Binghamton's contract is better and that Binghamton is a slightly better goalie. It's just Robin Leonard's playing better this year, and we just need to see a change of scenery when it comes to goaltending right now, as it is. So yeah, I mean, that's an option. I'm not going to click on it yet, but that's an option. If it doesn't go through, I wonder if we have to throw in a draft pick or something like that to help it go through, which would, again, significantly be overpaying for a, not even that good of a goalie, especially with the contract he's on. But at the end of the day, we just need some kind of change in scenery. The other option here, really the only other decent option I can think of here is from Washington, and it's actually for a much better goalie, and I think this is the one we're going to try first. And when we go into goaltending here, it's Braden Holtby. So his trade value is a little bit higher, but look at the goalie he is. He's an elite goalie, 89. He's actually one of the better goalies in the game right now. I think Carter Hart is a 91, Gibson is a 90, and then Braden Holtby is an 89. So I think he's tied for the third best goalie right now in the league in overalls. So that's not bad. 903, 313 could be better, but he's above 900 in the save percentage. The fact that he's an 89 is a significant improvement over Jordan Binghamton. His contract is definitely not as good. 6.8 for 2 years. I mean, that's better than the 3 years that Robin Leonard's on. But Holtby is 35 years old. He'll have this year, which will burn a year on his contract, and then next year, our team will be stuck with him again next year, which I'm guessing he'll significantly decline. But even if he goes down from like an 89 to an 85, he's still a starting goalie. I mean, whoever our GM is next year could still run with Braden Holtby as our number one goalie next year, and that would be his final year of his contract. You would obviously let him walk after that because he'll be 37 by the time his contract's over with. So I mean, you probably won't be re-signing him. But he is an Alberta native, Lloydminster, Alberta. I don't know if he's from the Saskatchewan or the Alberta side, but whatever. He is close to home here. It would make a lot of sense in terms of that. But in terms of trading back again, they don't want to give up Holtby, and they don't want to take on Jordan Binghamton, which is going to make this significantly challenging. You can see, unlike the last one, the trade value is not actually in their favor. It's probably pretty even, so we're going to have to up this quite a bit. This is the one I want to do. Again, I think Holtby's an elite goalie. I think he can solve our problems. And I think he being an elite, I think it makes the most sense, long-term wise as well, past this year, for our next GM. I think this makes a lot of sense. Again, they don't want to give up Holtby. They're 20-14-4. Their record's not that bad. But I mean, we're giving them back the thing about Binghamton is we're giving them back a decent goalie, like a goalie that, I know he hasn't played good this year, but he's still an elite goalie in this league. Like I said, he's 85. This is a guy that won a Stanley Cup last year and probably should have won the Conn Smythe last year. Could have won the Conn Smythe last year, because he was that good in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Before that, he won a Vezina Trophy with us just 3 years before that. he played 3 really good years for us before this year. Like, I mean, he was probably one of the top goalies in the NHL the last 3 years, winning a Vezina in his first year. Was lights out, like I said, in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, you show him this playoff record. I mean, 9-2-5 last year through 23 games, 9-1-4 the year before that, 9-1-3 the year before that, including 2 Stanley Cups and 3 years Stanley Cup playoff years. Like, I mean, this is a good goalie. It's not like we're giving them, a complete fraud back. And he's going to be a good goalie for a long time. Like, he's only 31 years of age. His contract is up at the end of this year, which is definitely hurts his trade value as well. But they could re-sign him, and he could be a good goalie for Washington for a long, long time if this goes through. He's just having a really, really bad year right now, and unfortunately for us, we just can't wait for him to get better next year. This is our last year, so we're just trying to win now. So and take advantage of the core we have. So that's why I want to do this trade. I think we just need to change the scenery. It makes sense for us significantly. I think it could make sense for them as well. I know they don't want to give up Holtby, but they're getting an equally good goalie back almost. I mean, not as good. I mean, Holtby's still an 89, whereas Binghamton's an 85, but he's still one of the better goalies in this league. We're also going to up it. We're going to give them something else. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're wanting any prospects. I don't think so. They are. There's a few prospects there, so we could give them. So when we go by trade value here, you can see, I think we are going by trade value. Let's go like this. All right, so you can see these are all of our roster players, but when you get here to this Pauly guy, he is a prospect for us. He has top 6 forward potential. I think we just drafted him in one of these last couple of years there. In 2023, we drafted him 12th overall in the first round, so he's one of our top prospects, 12th overall, but he's only got top 6 forward potential, which isn't even that great. It's okay, but it's not that great. He's playing in the juniors right now, I believe. So this Marcel Pauly guy, and he is just 19 years of age. He's our top prospect in terms of trade value. We've also got this Campoli guy who's been with us for a little bit, but he doesn't have a contract. Actually, none of these guys have a contract right now because they're in the juniors, I think is the way it is. We got some prospects here in the AHL. There's Jacob Peltier, but there's also this guy who was also another first-round pick. He was drafted 8th overall in 2022 by us. But again, just top 6 medium potential. Even though he was drafted 8th overall, he hasn't panned out that good because, I mean, you think he would be maybe not an elite medium, but you think he'd be at least, top 6 elite or something. He's only top 6 medium. I could part with a guy like this again. 21 years of age. Again, we got some okay prospects down here between these guys that aren't signed and some of these guys that are in the AHL. It's not the best prospect covered by any terms in the NHL at all, but we still have enough prospects down here, and again, we're just trying to win a cup. So I mean, we could put one of these guys in. Let's see if they're interested in any draft picks first. So they are interested in a second. We could give away a second. I don't know if I want to throw in a prospect or a second would be better. Let's try throwing in a prospect first, and then keep our draft picks for our next GM. So let's try this Pauly guy. Why not? Let's throw him in there. They want him, and that would definitely put the trade value in their favor. So we are asking for the better goalie. They're still getting a decent goalie out of it, but we're upping it by giving them a top prospect, one of our top prospects, going back the other way. I still don't know if it's going to be enough, even though when you look at the bottom, you see the trade value, how it's significantly in their favor. It's just the fact that they don't want to get rid of Holtby and they don't want Binghamton. I think that's what they're going to come back and tell us. They're going to be like, this is not interested enough, although, the trade looks good, something like that. We are not interested in giving up the asset that you're asking for, and we're not particularly interested in the other asset, which is Binghamton. I just have a feeling that's what they're going to say, but we can try it. The trade value is significantly in their favor. It's easy to say if I was Washington, I would do this trade, but we'll see what they say. I'm hoping it goes through. We just need a change of scenery when it comes to goaltending. We just need something different. And if it costs us one of our top prospects, then that's what it's going to cost. We just need to get better goaltending at this point. So are we moving on from Jordan Binghamton? Do we get Braden Holtby? Let's find out. Proposed trade. It's accepted. All right. They dealt anybody in Washington on the streets. Will come out. They'll come out on the short end of the stick. So it's a done deal. You know what? Again, it looks really good in their favor on paper, but again, it's just the fact that we needed a change of scenery massively when it came to the goaltending. This is a blockbuster goaltending trade between the Calgary Flames and the let's go to edit lines here. And the Washington Capitals. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, it was definitely necessary. So I'm just trying to think here. Edit lines. All right, there we go. It was necessary. It's 100% necessary. The way our season was going, we wanted to fix it now before it got too late. So we're bringing in an 89 overall goaltender, and Braden Holtby, the Alberta native, has come in, and he's going to take the reins of the goal. 903-313 this season. That's decent stats. He is an elite goalie. Like I said, he's probably tied for the third best goalie in the NHL currently at an 89 overall. Yes, that's going to drop off. Even by the end of this year, I could see it dropping off. But if we get two decent years out of Braden Holtby, that's all he's got left on his contract, then we could be golden for that. That does hurt our salary cap space. That puts us right up against the cap. We have 0.078 to work with. Very little. It costed us a top prospect. And Jordan Binnington, who won a Vezina Trophy with us, who won a Stanley Cup with us, played really good for us for 3.5 seasons almost. It's time to move on. He wasn't here very, very long, but man, did he have a huge impact when he was here. Winning a Vezina Trophy right off the top, getting us to the Stanley Cup playoffs in all 3 years that he was here. And of course, winning us a Stanley Cup in his final year. He was lights out for us. Actually, it was only 2 years that we had Binnington in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The first year, I don't believe we made it, or the second year, one of them. Anyways, we have a new look goaltending. We'll see if that affects us and helps us out a little bit. I'm wondering if we should do a little bit of simming here to kind of see what our first few games look like here with Jordan Binnington, with Braden Holtby now as our number one goalie. You know what? No, let's end this episode here. Let's start a clean slate. Let's start the new year in the next episode. I know we're going month by month. I wanted to get a lot more simming done, but we've got a brand new goalie. Let's start a brand new episode off with our brand new goalie. We'll keep them shorter, but that's I like the move we just made. Like I said, I think it makes a lot of sense for our team. It sucks that we had to give up a top prospect as well, but at the end of the day, you look at where we are in the standings. 38 points, dead last in our division. We're at the halfway point, by the way. 40 games, one more game, we will be exactly halfway through our season. Binnington and Netrovic just did not get it done throughout the season. We just needed a change of scenery when it came to goaltending. I think Braden Holtby can be that answer for the rest of the way. I think Braden Holtby can carry us back to the Stanley Cup playoffs in what is still a log-jam division. If we just go on a good win streak with Braden Holtby, we can again significantly climb our standings there. Again, we're just how many points back there? We're not even 10 points out of top in our division. 9 points back of the San Jose Sharks, who lead our division with 47 points. We have 38 points. Like, that's how close our division is. It's not crazy to say we could still win our division by the end of the season if we, have a tremendous second half. Our first half of the season was not great. All we need to do is have a good second half of the season with Braden Holtby now in control, in net. Our defense has to pick it up, yes. Our offense has to continue to pick it up, yes. But if we can just have a good second half, it's not crazy to say that we can make the playoffs and even contend for our division at the end of the day. So, I like the move we just made. We made it a little bit earlier than, like I said, trade deadline. I'm wondering if we even go and still go at trade deadline and get a backup goalie, because Netrovic still can't spell us off, spell Braden Holtby off. He's still not a good backup at all. I wouldn't mind trading him either, or as well, and getting a better backup. But that's something we can explore at the trade deadline. So I think we're about a month and a half away from that. Let's just take a quick look here at the upcoming schedule. This is the month of January. That's December. This is the month of January. So you can see we have a handful of games here before the break, and then we go into February, and we have a handful of games before the deadline that comes at the end of February. So a lot of games to be played here before the deadline. Still a lot to shape out, but if we can go on a massive run and climb ourselves back in the playoff spot here, and even top 3 in our division by this game against Philadelphia, by the trade deadline, then maybe we could just get a cheap backup goalie somewhere and trade Netrovic, and then hopefully make the playoffs, and contend for our division. So there's still a lot of optimism here for this team for this season. The fact that we now have a better goalie, and like I said, it's not that fact that Holtby's that much better than Binnington. He is better, but it's the fact that we just needed a change of scenery. Binnington just was not getting it done for us. He was having a horrible season. I don't know what it was. And Holtby will come in now and hopefully take the net. So we will see. That does it for this episode. We'll try and pick everything up and hopefully turn our season around in the second half of the season, our final season here in franchise mode with the Calgary Flames in episode number 47.